Hello, and welcome to my second episode of my new podcast. Now, today's episode is going to be about basically, is your business giving you enough profit, the profit that you want to sustain the lifestyle that you desire, basically? And this episode has come about because a lot of my clients, when I speak to them about profit, it transpires quite often that the business just isn't giving them the amount of money they want, and there's a number of reasons behind why this is happening. It's not that the business is necessarily failing or not working. It usually boils down to that it needs a few tweaks, and this is what we're going to talk about in the podcast today. So the very first thing that I'm going to suggest to you, if you are finding that you, after all your expenses, all your business expenses, what's left over just isn't sustainable for you, and or it isn't giving you the kind of lifestyle that you are building your business for, the very first thing that I would recommend you do is read a book that I read years ago. It's called Profit First by, now let me just get this pronunciation right, it's Mike Kalowitz. And basically his whole theory about profit in a business, it really, really resonated with me. And it is basically, I've taken a lot of his advice and applied it to my own business. So the very first thing I would suggest is, after you've listened to this episode, go and get that book, whether you get it from Amazon or you can download it, whatever, however you read your books. That is the first thing that I would suggest you do. Now, one thing about your profit in your business, your bottom line profit after everything else has gone out, one thing that I advise my clients to do is to really, really deep dive into your outgoings. Because quite often when I do this with most of my students, is we have a deep dive into where they're spending too much money in their business. And quite often it transpires that there's quite a few obvious gaping holes that basically they don't need to be spending out on this kind of thing. So for an example, if your products are manufactured by somebody else, like mine are, have you got the absolute best deal from your manufacturer? That's the first thing to look at. Can you somehow get your price per unit down from them? Because once you've had a little chat with your manufacturer, you'd be surprised at how they might want to barter with you, how they might want to negotiate. They don't want to lose your business. And if you can just drop it down £1 or $1 per unit, you might find that in itself really, really makes a big difference in your bottom line. So that's one thing to look at, your manufacturing costs. If you're a handmade business, think about where you get your supplies from. Is there anything there that you can cut down on that's unnecessary, or you can do it cheaper or find another supplier? So that's one way of doing it. Another way is, and this is what I'm looking at in my own business, the soft toys at the moment, is shipping costs. So not only do I ship my products from overseas, which is a big expense, I also ship out to Amazon warehouses. So I've got like 2 shipping payments that I need to pay for. Now, one thing I'm looking at is, because my products are soft toys, I'm looking at the possibility of shrink wrapping each unit. And first of all, so if you imagine, my soft toys come in big boxes and there's about 50 toys per box, and I pay shipping per box. And with the shrink wrapping, it basically halves the size per unit. Now, if I can pull this off and get it to my manufacturer to do it properly for me, basically I could get 100 units per box. So literally half my shipping costs coming into the UK. And then also when I'm shipping out to a warehouse, whether it's in America, which is my biggest market, the cost that I spend shipping out again from my warehouse in the UK would literally halve. Now, if I've halved my shipping costs, that would make a big difference on my bottom line profit, definitely, because I ship in thousands now. And so if you imagine how much it costs to ship thousands of products, that in itself, if I can manage to shrink wrap, I could literally cut my shipping costs in half, which would be amazing. That'd be amazing for my profit. So that's another way we can look at. The other thing is, and we all do this, we subscribe to something, a service, a product, whatever it is, and then we kind of forget about it. But those monthly payments still keep coming out of the business. What I suggest people do is do a massive audit of all those monthly subscriptions that you've got in your business. And it's a good personal thing to do as well, actually. Just if you want them and still use them, by all means, carry on paying for them. But if you think, well, I've subscribed to that, I never ever use it, it's not serving me, it's not serving my business anymore, cancel it, cancel it. I found quite a few of my students have got these concurrent monthly payments that they just don't use. It's money down the drain. So have a good look into that, have a really good deep dive into that. Now, these are all really good creative ways to increase your bottom line profit and start to think about how you run your business and where this extra profit is coming from. Now, on to probably the biggest profit increaser, apart from obviously more sales, which is a completely different podcast, but with what you're working with now, the biggest thing that most of my students do or don't do, as it happens, is they're not pricing their products high enough. I know this sounds scary, but it is so important. It can make a massive, massive difference to your business. Huge, huge difference. And a lot of people, I don't know why, but I have these, well, I do know why, money blocks. It's a financial money block. We don't think we're worthy of high charging. We have lack of confidence in our products. But once you get beyond that and start charging for what you are actually worth, whether it's a product, a physical product, whether it's a course or a training, whatever it is that you sell, whether it's digital or physical products, charge what you are worth. And again, that's going to be a whole nother podcast, is money mindset. It's huge. It's a huge block and it can be affecting your profit line. I know, like I said, so many of my students have this exact problem. I look at their products and think, wow, your products are amazing. They're beautiful. The quality is excellent. Your packaging is superb. Your photography is great and top notch. And you're charging that little, it's surprising. And there's also like a money mindset with your customer as well. If you underprice yourself, it automatically sends a message to your customer that the quality isn't there. That's another big money mindset. And I will be covering this in a completely separate podcast because it's really important. So you've got to find the right product pricing. I'm not saying, if you're a candle maker, charge £1,000 for a candle, because that's unrealistic. But there's a big difference between a candle that costs £5 to a candle that costs £55. There's a market for both, don't get me wrong, but you've got to figure out, with all your costs of production, where your product fits in the market. And if you're creating a really good quality product and it's handmade and it's beautiful packaging, you've got to get your product in that higher price bracket. That is where you're going to see the biggest profit increase in your business. It has worked time and time again with my students and my own business. When I first started my soft toy business years ago, I massively underpriced, massively. I think I was just about breaking even because of the fear of overcharging. I thought, oh, more people will buy if I'm cheaper. And actually, that's not the case at all. Over the years of selling, I have fiddled about with the prices many, many times, and there is literally very little difference in sales. Well, actually, there's more sales the higher I price my products. When I've had them low, sales have been low. When I've had them high, sales have been higher. It's a strange thing, but it does work like that for most products. So really have a really good look at your product, at your pricing. If you do sell at the lower end of the market, fine, that's fine. You just need more customers. That's the problem there. But most of us with our small businesses, we take huge amount of pride in the quality of the product or service that we're offering. So have a really, really good deep dive. So that is the end of this little podcast. Now, what I'm going to do is do a quick takeaway at the end. So step one, read Profit First by Mike Kalowitz. That's a really good one to get all your finances sorted out at the back end of your business. He's got a really great method of having different accounts for different things within your business, and you know exactly where you are. And you'll always be getting a profit out of your business for yourself, for your lifestyle and all your bills that you need to pay. So that's step one, get the book, Profit First. Step two, have a look at all your manufacturing costs. See if there's anything you can cut out or reduce. Try bargaining with your manufacturer if you've got a manufacturer or anything like that. Have a really, really good deep dive into everything that you spend out on in your business. Step three, look at all those subscriptions. Is there anything that is not serving you or your business anymore? If there's things in there that you just don't use, cancel them, cancel the subscriptions. And step four, shipping costs. Is there any way you can reduce your shipping costs? Can you do a longer shipping length, or can you combine shipping? Can you, like I'm doing with the shrink wrapping, can you physically get your products shipped in any other way apart from what you're doing? Reducing weight, reducing size, anything like that. And I think that was step five. Next step is look at what you're pricing your products at. The big one. That is the big one. That is what you really need to look at. Once you've done that, see where your profit's at and see where it takes you, because I can pretty much guarantee through experience and teaching other people this exact thing that you will be very surprised how you can suddenly turn around the fortunes of your business by just doing these very, very simple things. And you can do them yourself. You can audit yourself. So yeah, that is what I recommend. And yeah, so that's the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've managed to get something to take away and action, because all my podcasts, I want you to be able to take those little nuggets of gold from my podcasts to action straight away in your business. So go ahead and do those things. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and please forward on to anybody else, any other entrepreneurs or any other small business owners that you think might get some really good insights from what I'm talking about. And yeah, so have a lovely, lovely day.